You know, when you meet someone and you very quickly realize you pretty much share a brain, you're always on the same page and essentially speak the same language, maybe just in a different font?
I'm Stephanie, and that was Holly, and we are those girlies. After sharing an experience in corporate America, and maybe some trauma bonding along the way, we really just want to yammer about the stuff that matters to us. Join us as we discuss navigating self love and growth, marriage, sobriety, and the hamster wheels that are our brains. And welcome to Same Language, Different Font.
You've been mentioning that your life is different from a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
What changed a year and a half ago?
I was pregnant after a journey. And then I had a little baby boy born this last October. So he's 8 months
Y'all,
old.
he's so stinking cute. Oh my gosh.
I'm biased. I think so.
Yes.
No, he is. He really is.
But yeah, that's been a big life change.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Some would argue one of the biggest.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
So you mentioned that it was a journey, and so I mean, I know that you and I have talked offline many a times. Like I said, big man did not. There's no coincidences when he brought you back into my life. But is there anything that you feel comfortable speaking on, or any advice that you would give when others are looking to start that journey?
Yeah. So I'm prefacing this with I totally understand pregnancy loss and different things can be a trigger. So if that is, I just want to start with that. If you need to kind of zoom forward in this podcast and skip this part, I totally understand. But in 2023, in January, I had a pregnancy loss. I was 7 weeks along, and that just kind of got the ball rolling in my head of I just need to get all of my blood work checked and see where it's at. Because that year prior, I had also ovarian cyst ruptures. And I didn't really pair the two together. I never really had really painful periods. It just, there was nothing that was alarming to me. I had some hair falling out. But again, people chalk that up to
that could be anything. Yeah, it could be stress.
My skin was really dry, but I'm chalking that up to I just need to get better skincare and put different lotion on. You know, it's like you're not, there's so many different things. I'm not an alarmist.
Right.
Like, I just am like, oh, whatever, you know, but I had ovarian cyst ruptures happening. And so after the miscarriage and after I kept having ovarian cyst ruptures, working with my OBGYN and then also a functional medicine doctor, they looked at labs. My functional medicine doctor, she told me that I have Hashimoto's. My lab showed that. Not that she just told me, my labs were showing. And I never knew that. Never knew I had a thyroid problem. And then also with the ovarian cyst ruptures, I had endometriosis. That was pretty heavy. And those, I got COVID. So I promise this is all coming full circle. I got COVID in 2022. And 1 month later, I started getting the ovarian cyst ruptures. So they're actually seeing a lot of correlations with having COVID and then just ovarian health in general.
Cow.
They're seeing a lot of correlations with that. And whenever I've posted on my stories and said, you know, my ovarian cyst ruptures didn't start until literally 1 month after I got COVID. And I didn't put those two and two together until my functional medicine doctor, she was looking at dates of everything. She was like, do you see this correlation? So really, I kind of think that was the catalyst. And then I don't think it was just caused from that. I think there's a lot of environmental factors. There's a lot of things after I found out that I had endometriosis, Hashimoto's, a lot of different things that changed in my life that I started working towards. So that was in 2023 in January that I had the miscarriage, figured everything out with my health. And then in March of 2023, I had a endometriosis removal surgery. There's a big word for it, but basically they just went in and remove that. It was like a 2.5 hour surgery. I had I had an ovarian cyst on each ovary. That was what they were most concerned about, that would twist around my fallopian tube and possibly lose the ability for me to have kids if that twisted. So that was the main thing there. And then I was also starting a lot of different supplements, all of my sex hormones from progesterone, estrogen.
Yeah.
Those were way out of whack. Everything with my thyroid. So all of those things can, all go towards fertility. And that's the end goal for me is we want to have a baby.
Right.
How do we get to that end goal?
Exactly.
And starting that with my doctor, she was like, once I figured that out in January, everything that was going on, she's like, we need to have the mindset of this will most likely for you with where your levels are at take 6 months to a year before I feel comfortable, saying, give you the green light for like your levels will probably be good to where you're not risking having another loss. So it was, I was looking at end goal. And so I kind of just had to put my head down with grief, in my back pocket, but also just like, I'm like, action stops anxiety in its tracks. That's what I just had to keep saying is like, what actions can you do to keep moving you forward? And that was really every day I just woke up like, what does pregnant Ashton need you to do today? And I would just kind of kept looking towards what does pregnant Ashton need you to do? And it's hard, because I had to make, even as a nutrition coach, with different things I had to cut out for a couple months. I needed to cut out dairy. I still cut out gluten with Hashimoto's. And so it just was, one fell swoop. But that was literally 1 year later. So December of 2023, it was 1 year later and my labs came back and they were looking really great. And so she was like, I'm giving you the green light, sister,
Right.
And literally, I mean, might be TMI for some listeners, but warned ya. But it was literally for our first try. And but it was by the grace of God. Took a lot of strength. It took a lot of support from family and friends because it's
a lot of strength because for anybody who hasn't been in this journey or tried to conceive or what have you, like being told a timeline, you're very impatient at that point. You
absolutely
you flipped that switch. You're ready. And then to have to wait, like props to you because that's what I'm struggling with is that timeline.
Being in the waiting.
I absolutely understand. Well, and I went in not thinking I was being prideful, but whenever I first had the discussion with her on the discovery call, it was like 3 weeks after I had the miscarriage, I called her and I was like, I've been working really hard on my nutrition the past few years. Like I'm a nutrition coach. Like I really don't think anything's wrong with me, but I'm just doing this. Literally, I think I said it like pretty much like this. Like I'm just doing this to like kind of cross my T's, dot my I's, just make sure. And then literally
it gives you some sense of control in that situation of like, this is something I can do.
It does. And it lit up like a Christmas tree with what was going on. And it is. Timelines are so hard. And I think that is the one thing that I would say to myself. I'm not speaking to anybody. I've said, if anybody's asking for my advice on this, it's something that I wish I could tell Ashton in 2023. Get your labs checked. If you're somebody who's planning, you and your like, it's not like, you're getting married and you're like, okay, we're just going to see what happens. Like if you're somebody who's a planner and it's like, okay, this time next year, I'm thinking we're going to try. I am too. I was a planner. Then I would say 6 months to a year, give yourself that time of before, just double check your labs. If you're on birth control, I would say at least 6 months to a year, wean off of that.
Wean off and still check your labs because you don't know what your hormone levels are at without it, because that was such a big thing. Is like, you just don't know where anything's at. And like, I felt fine. I felt like there was nothing wrong. I had no issues coming up at all to even give me any sort of inclination that I needed to get my labs checked until you and I talked about it and you mentioned it. But even when I thought about like starting this next chapter of trying, I had never heard this is something you should do beforehand. Is that something that you had heard? Was you should maybe look into this prior?
No, it's not talked about. And a lot of times just at general OBGYNs, they only look at about 4 levels.
Yeah.
And that doesn't tell the full story.
Right.
No.
And a lot of times too, they're not even knowing at what point in your cycle that you're getting your labs drawn. Or they don't tell, they do know. I mean, they're doctors, they know, but they don't know a lot of times when to tell you when to go. Like they don't really tell you an exact timeline. So it's kind of, you're going just willy-nilly, and you might not know exactly, because it's really most important to know where you're at with ovulation. And a lot of times they don't give you that timeline. They just kind of look. But there is a book, and it's the doctor that I see, her name's Dr. Adrienne Hines, and she's with Wellspring Natural Medicine. I've asked her if I could ever, shout her name out, and she gives me the go ahead. But she is great. And she actually has a book that she just published. It's called The Sacred Seed. And it's all information on fertility and how to optimize your fertility as naturally as possible. And it's really awesome.
Yeah. She did like a small little flex at my last appointment, actually. She's like, oh, let me check this book to see where you can find this nutrition or this vitamin. And she's like, this book, I actually just published it. And I was like, okay, look
Miss
at
Girl.
you. Right.
Yeah, she's legit. She
She's
knows
fantastic.
her stuff. Yeah, and this is what she specializes in. So you can go to her for anything with thyroid, with any of that, but you can tell like this is not necessarily maybe what she specializes in, but it's what she's most passionate about enough to write a book about it. So yeah, if anybody listening is struggling, that would be my top recommendation. Read her book and get your full labs done.
And so Em and I were in the phase of all the supplements. Let me tell you, so many supplements. And I know that it could be much worse. Like I am trying to always remind myself of that these are all fixable things. But it's crazy to me how much of a mental toll these supplements have taken. I have to take these, 3 different times of the day, but only certain weeks of the month because it has to be based off of my cycle, and like all these different things. And it baffles me how much goes into it. I was just so ignorant about starting this process. And so I've been trying to give the same advice of just make sure you're as prepared as you can be. Make sure that you have everything checked, you and your partner, just to be cross your I's, dot your T's type of thing. Yeah.
And, and I want to go back to what you just said of like, I am still grateful it could be worse. I had to work really closely with my therapist during that period of waiting and grief. Something that she said, is two emotions can be present at the same time. We can absolutely be grateful, but we can also admit that it's hard. And
absolutely.
And it's, so I think it's helpful, and it takes the pressure off of our mind is, God didn't promise us that, earth would be without troubles. And it's okay to say that this is hard. It could be worse. Yeah. But it doesn't negate that it's a very hard season and challenging, and you will get to the other side of it with God's help. But it's okay to say, it's challenging, because we all have our challenging seasons.
Yeah. There is a devotional for anybody out there who I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. Their mom sent them the most recent episode of the pod that's been out, the season 2 premiere, because they also went through a loss themselves. And she said, it's like a bad club that you didn't ask to join.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of give that backstory before I say, if you have experienced this, there is a really good devotional. It's called Held. I don't remember who it's by, but it is specific for miscarriages. And it's one that definitely helped when I was like right at that season, going through that. So I will post that on the pod Instagram, just for anybody who might be interested in that.
Love that.
And I just appreciate both of you. I mean, I know I've told Halls many times. Just really thankful that both of you are being so vulnerable and open to sharing something that is just kind of it's tough. But I think one thing that just really just I admire about both of you at this point, Ashton, I know that this is a new friendship, but really just kind of dealing with all of it. Halls, you gave the recommendation of the devotional. Ashton, it sounds like your faith has just really kind of grounded you through all of it. Is there anything specific that you think that you've done to kind of protect your peace through it outside of just having faith, or anything additional that you think that you've kind of just really kind of held on to keep you strong through it?
My therapist was super helpful. I was going about bi-weekly, and I think that's something, like, everybody has a different relationship with therapy.
Yeah.
But that's something that's tapered off for a while, but I know I can always call her if I need to. But during that season, that was really hard. It was so helpful to have somebody who was a third party.
Yeah, that's what I was
that
just
was
thinking.
Unbiased.
Yeah.
And I could really just say whatever I needed to. There was a time when it first happened where I just said, I'm angry at God.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and it would get, there was just a lot of emotions that I was having that I've never experienced before.
Yeah.
And how to navigate that. Now I'm looking back on, like, there was so much that God taught me
Yeah.
throughout that season that I never would have experienced, or the strength on the other side of it that I never would have experienced. Like, there's so many things, and the timing of it, of whenever we do have Jeffrey now Earthside, it's his timing's perfect. Like, God's timing, he sees it whenever we don't see it.
Right.
But so it has, but it's so, it's true. And I'm looking at you, Holly, and anybody else.
Sorry,
listening.
I know I'm struggling.
No, I'm just saying, it's you don't think about these things until you talk about them out loud.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who kind of blocks off hard times and just presses forward, but it's really good to reflect. Yeah. Just know that whatever season you're in, whatever season of waiting that you're in, and it might not even be miscarriage, it might be something else of your, waiting on your person to arrive, or you're waiting on your job. Like, God isn't surprised by anything that's going on. Mm-hmm. And everything that happens, I'm not trying to be toxic positive, but it really is for his good and his glory. And I truly believe that I went through that to help others. Yeah. And that really is where I'm going full circle with this, of, like, really putting my life out there, and it's like, I just want his glory to be on display, because it's not any of my own doing. Mm-hmm. I would have never chosen for that to happen ever in a million years. Right. But now, looking back on it, there's so much more good that came from that.
Amen.
Than bad. But it's really hard in the moment to know that. But God always makes everything good in his time, always.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish I could just wrap you both up so hard. I just wish. And this is exactly why Holly and I started this, and this is exactly why you came back into Hall's life.
No, don't be sorry. It's very good emotion. It's going back to gratefulness. Yeah. It really is.
It's so, and it's just, I think that's what it comes down to, is that you go through the hard stuff, the bad stuff, the stuff that you feel like nobody should ever have to go through, to get to the other side of it, and just really just be able to just absorb that gratitude, and then put that out into the world. Somebody is going to listen to this episode. There is going to be a woman or a man, a mom to be or a dad to be. Someone is going to listen to this and know that there is a way through it, and you can get to the other side of it, no matter what that looks like, because it looks different for everybody. But this is necessary. The hard stuff, the hard talks, are almost more necessary than the good stuff. It's just, absolutely, it's what connects us all, and what makes it, this is the human experience. Stephen Colbert said it. He said it in an interview with Anderson Cooper. He was like, how blessed and how lucky are we to suffer? I mean, as crazy and as twisted as that sounds, how blessed are we to be here and to have this experience? Thank you, Ashton, like so much, like so much. And thank you for being there for my girl, because
oh my gosh, absolutely.
We're wrapping y'all up. Oh,
yeah, it really is. It's the human. I love that. Like, it really is. It's feeling deeply.
yes.
Whether that's sorrow, whether that's joy. Yeah. At the end of the day, whenever you're feeling that sorrow, you don't feel like it's a gift, but it is. You know, you're able to see God through the light at the end of the tunnel. You're able to see him in a whole different light.
Yeah. Well, just thank you so much for being vulnerable in your posts that you put up. I'm not sure when they initially came out, but that's what initiated me reaching out to you when all of this happened, and that the amount of people that have already reached out since our episode went out last week saying that they appreciated us being vulnerable so that they could talk to somebody about it, because they didn't feel like they could talk to their people about it because it's hard. They might not necessarily relate, and that's a good thing, but having somebody that can kind of help walk with it or walk with you during it, that's such a blessing.
And I will say, I know we were talking about the bad things about social media, but that is something that has gotten a lot of destigmatized, I guess, or it's not near as taboo now because of social media.
That's it.
Because people are willing to talk about it and put it out there and know that they're not alone. Because I really don't think even 15 years ago, this was near as much of a topic of conversation. People were suffering in silence a lot.
Absolutely.
So there is beauty that can come from
balance.
That's it.
Yes, there is. But I'm
in balance.
But there was people I reached out to, you know, before I was posting about it, of thanking them. It's a domino effect. Vulnerability breeds vulnerability.
Amen.
And so thank you guys for being willing, girls. Thank you, girls, for being willing,
girlies,
for being willing to have hard conversations, because it's very easy in the podcast world to kind of keep it happy clappy, which sometimes we need a little happy clappy, you know, but it really does go back to the balance of we need a mix of it all.
Yep. It's not realistic to keep that gratitude all the time, no matter how much we might be intentional with it or try to push it on you guys. It's not real. I'm not happy all the time. I mean, I just cried 5 minutes ago. It's just life. It comes, it's a roller coaster, and it's just what you choose to focus on as you're riding through it all. But I just love this full circle of now you're here with us talking about these things.
All I'm thinking about too is at the Barbie movie, at the end of it, whenever the scene of whenever she decides she wants to live in the real world, you know, and all that is literally all I can think about is like the sadness, but like the fireworks and the ocean and like everything, you know, it really does. Like these seasons that are life shifting, it really is. You see all of those things, and it's part of the human experience.
That's it.
So.
Yes, for sure. Well, all right. This is a perfect segue. Ashton, you kick it off. What are we loving right now?
What are we loving right now? Oh my gosh. So I'm in my getting my pink back era of in my postpartum glow up. I gave myself 8 months of just really low maintenance, you know, but can I say 2 things I'm loving right now?
Of course.
Absolutely.
First thing, I found teeth whitening strips on Amazon that are clean.
Nice.
Like they have more, they're less toxic. They're called Luminex. And they literally, within a week, my smile, I feel like Colgate girl. So first way of little glow up. And then Beauty by Earth self tanner.
Also, just getting all Rex right now.
That's it.
Yeah. Cleaner ingredients for both of these things, but they make you feel yourself a little more. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Love it.
I love it.
Steph, what are we loving right now?
I took a moment of being brave in my motherhood, and I know you guys probably noticed I'm in a different location. I braved a family vacation with all 7 of us for the first time. So we are on
It took 2 vehicles.
We have two vehicles to get down here, multiple trips back and forth from the cars to get us all up to the room and settled. I was joking with Ashton about just overpacking and having way more than I probably needed, but happy and pleased to report that things so far, fingers crossed, are going really, really well. And this is also kind of, like Ashton said, a moment of where I feel like my pink is all the way here, and I feel like I'm really like conquering motherhood this trip, because I'm like not only keeping everyone alive, but everyone is happy, and that's a 10 out of 10. What am I loving
it's
right
a big
now
victory.
For me? Yes. And what about you, Halls? What are you loving right now?
I'm loving my new job. I spent 4 hours editing a manuscript on Saturday, and it was 10 out of 10. I got 5 pages in. It's fine. But it's been great. I'm really thankful for it.
Loving your job is so important.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life. It's so cliche, but it is so true.
Ashton, thank you so much. I truly, there are no words to tell you how grateful I am for you taking your time to be here and sharing your story, your testimony with us. It's just, I love you, girly. Thank you so much.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me. This made my month. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely see you guys on the next one for sure. Ashton, thank you, girl. We love you, listeners.
Thank you.
Love you, listeners.
Bye.
Bye. There are millions of fonts in the world, and new ones are constantly being developed. If you happen to be one of those millions out there that speak our language and are still developing, just like we are, stick with us.
We want to thank you for spending your time with us today, and we'll talk to you on the next episode of Same Language, Different Font. Love you, listeners.